Thank you so much for being here, Matt. I really appreciate your time. For the people that don't know, introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? I'm Matt. I am the growth operator in the community. I am also on Instagram at The Motivated Mentality and at Growth by Matt. Alessandro and I grew up together. We are homies in real life, and we kind of decided to do the community as a team. So that's me.
Awesome. You've recently been seeing a lot of rapid growth on the motivated mentality. I just want to congratulate you. You texted me like 20 minutes ago that a post is going viral. It's probably over 10,000 views already in the last hour, which is crazy.
Nuts.
Seen you gain over 4,000 followers in the last 30 days. And again, I just want to applaud your efforts for putting the work in. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
How's that process been?
It's been it's been interesting. Started out in December, didn't really know what I was doing whatsoever. Was kind of just collecting clips online, not even really editing them, and just throwing them on Instagram, hoping for the best. Then finally figured out what was working and figured out what content people were actually consuming and what people actually liked. And it was just a matter of controlling inputs from that point on and just really focusing on the tiny, fine details that make a video a good video. And one of the biggest reframes and one of the biggest things that changed for me was I saw this post by Layla Hormozy, which said, don't make content for the algorithm, make content for your audience because those are the people that you're going to reach. And if you're just making a video to get plays, it's not really going to go very far.
I like that. I like that. Would you say your mindset has changed since creating content?
Most definitely. I really can't look at the world through the same lens anymore because beforehand I was strictly just a consumer. I didn't really have any businesses going or anything like that. I'm a college student and I'm working on that right now. And once I started creating content, I could kind of I felt like I had another like another eyeball, set eyeballs, if you will. I could see things in a different way. You see how things are made. You kind of have an eye for edits too, so you can really see what people are doing with their videos, which honestly is really cool. It's kind of like you see something like an embroidery that's stitched on the front and it looks really clean and professional and nice. But then you flip it around and you see where all the stitching was done on the back to make that what it was. That's kind of what it feels like.
That's a great analogy. I haven't heard that before. I like that a lot. And one of my first interview questions for you is what does growth mindset mean to you?
Good question. I think for me, a growth mindset is knowing that no matter where you start on the spectrum of skills, whether you're naturally inclined towards something or you're not very good at something to start, it's the idea that repeated efforts and repeated practice and diligent efforts towards improvement on something, you will become better at something. We all start at certain positions when trying to learn new things. But I would argue that no matter where you start climbing up the ladder, if you continue to climb up the ladder, you're going to reach the top at some point or another.
Since we are working together, you know what's going on inside the community. Today was
1%, 100.
one of the 1% 100, which I'm
Yep.
super excited about
It's good
myself.
to it's good to do a challenge, man.
That I
Honestly.
personally have in 100 days. I'm excited to see your personal growth in 100 days. And I wanted to ask you, what are some of the goals that you've set for the next 100 days?
That is a great question. I'm gonna keep working on the things that got me here within the first like 4 months of building my accounts, if we're talking social media wise. Just focusing on a matter of inputs. Kind of going back to what Layla Hormozy said, it's like focus on building good content that your audience is going to watch because that's what they want to see. And so that's number one is really focus on putting a very good quality piece of content together that people are going to watch and actually get something out of, not just posting because I need to post and I need to get that post out of the way for the day. So that's number one is just making sure the content that I'm posting is the highest quality I can make it. Um, Number two is definitely to learn more about content creation as a whole. I have a theme page, which is awesome. I just chop up the same style of video over and over and over, which is cool, but it's also kind of repetitive. And I feel like, I could definitely be trying a little bit harder to make them maybe a little bit nicer looking, add some subtle effects that just make it a better like watching experience in general. Like there are ways to improve it. I've just seen success with what I've been doing and I've been just sticking with the formula, but I feel like there's a threshold that is higher than this that I haven't attained yet. So I definitely want to go through some courses, 30 minutes a day. That's not a big ask. Learn about content creation, see what I can do to improve my content as much as possible. And then on the other side, which is completely detached from content creation on my personal life, is I want to lose a little bit of weight. As you know, winter time is coming to an end. I was doing a little bit of a bulk during the start of winter time just to give myself, some muscle to add on. I want to cut some weight because I'm tired of being a little chubby, not gonna lie.
I feel
Um, like I'm a tall dude. I got up to 230 and I'm probably sitting there right now, and that's pretty good weight wise, but want to kind of get down to like 220, 215 ish. And whatever the result is after 100 days, I'm going to be satisfied with because just a matter of taking care of inputs.
I'd love to hear your goals. It sounds like you, similar to me, we have very similar goals about growing our social medias, about improving our fitness and our physiques. I want to timestamp today, right now, where we are at currently. So it is April 1st, day one. I believe the motivated mentality is at 4,300 followers.
Yes, sir, it is.
My personal Instagram is at 9,976, something like that. Let's call it 9,900.
I'm going to write this down real quick for mine just so I can
And then
bookmark it.
your personal page is like 1450.
1435.
Okay, 1435. 100 days from now, these numbers are going to be up. That's what it is.
100%.
Numbers are going to be up. That's all it is. We're going to both work together as a team to learn more about content and bring it to you guys in the community, what we've learned, share the lessons that we've learned, kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Just like Matt, I want to learn more about this content creation process. In fact, that's what we're doing right now is creating content. Oh my goodness.
Who would have known? Oh my God. Content creation is not a psyop.
And then you, just like me, just finished up a bulk. So how much are you weighing right now, Matt?
230 pounds.
2,030 pounds. No, 230 pounds.
Bro, that bulk is going hard. What can I say? 2030. Shoot.
I'm at 191.
Big boy.
Big boy
Oh.
up there. So 100 days from now, you're both going to have lost a little bit of weight.
Hopefully.
Not, it's not too much for me personally. I don't want to put words in your mouth about like a specific number on the scale, but it's more about a feeling.
Yes, that definitely. I want to be feeling better at the end of this 100
Yeah,
days.
it's feeling better. It's looking better. So if I put a number to it, it's going to be like 10 pounds less than what I am now. I just want to know that I'm going in the right direction and I can run further pretty much. So
Feeling healthier
exactly, exactly,
and looking better.
exactly. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
That is where we're at. And we have both been developing this growth mindset. And the growth mindset teaches you that you're able to do these things. We've both been in the gym for a while. We've been creating content for less time than we've been in the gym, but the lessons we've learned from the gym are the same things that are going to help us with the content.
Fun fact about the gym.
Coming up.
Fun fact about the gym. Alessandro was actually the first one to get me a membership at an actual gym and show me the ways. So yeah,
I sold
shout
you
out
the
him.
muscle membership.
Shout out him. He had the growth mindset first. So yeah, he had to put a brother on.
That's crazy. That's a good fact. That's a good fact. I sold this dude a gym membership. That's awesome.
You got me, bro.
2021,
I think
probably.
so, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of thinking. I don't feel like doing right now.
Okay.
Saving that for the content creation.
My next question for you, and this is even beyond the 100 days, something I've been trying to grapple with myself. What does success look like for you?
Man, that's a good question. Oh gosh. Man, yeah, I've kind of been grappling with this for a while too. Uh, to give you an answer, I don't have a specific answer to this. It's a little bit ambiguous, if you would.
That's fair.
Um, I think success is very subjective to the individual. Um, and the funny thing about success is ultimately we decide if we are successful or not based on the circumstances we see around us and the circumstances that we put ourselves in. So, in a way, if I set goals and I crush those goals because I set up the parameter of setting goals would make me successful, I could be successful. But that's just one framework to look at it. Like, if I set a low bar for anything, like, say I wake up and I'm successful, I would wake up and be successful.
Yeah, you succeeded
Um,
with waking up.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. And so it's a very, it's a very subjective thing. I guess for my personal success, how will I know when I'm successful? Uh, I want to see signs that I'm becoming successful, but I don't ever want to put a goal line down and put it out in front of me and then eventually cross it because I think one of the big ideas we always talk about is that the goalpost always moves if you're on the right path. Once you hit one goal, there's another one after that. It's the cliche saying, the top of one mountain, that's the bottom of the next one, and you just got to keep climbing and keep traversing and keep getting better. Like for us, for me in particular, if we're gonna put it in terms of our social media accounts, motivated mentality getting to 1,000 was very awesome, and that happened last month. And like, yeah, it took me 3 months to get to 1,000, and within this month, I'm already at 4,300, which is crazy. And so if I set my parameters as, being successful with growing my account, I would guess you could call that being successful in terms of life in general. And we could just relate it to the gym because we're both gym bros. uh, Success to me isn't necessarily an outcome, but it's a daily routine of keeping up with things. I'm a big believer in crappy workouts, as I'm sure you are. Even if I go to the gym and I'm not having a great workout, I'm still there. I'm still applying myself mentally and physically. And even if I only get like one or two exercises in, I still showed up. And in my eyes, that might not be as successful, but it is still successful because it's better than not going. So yeah,
I like your answer, and I think it is entirely subjective, and it depends on the frame that you put around that word. I think it's a challenging question to have a precise answer to, and that's one of the reasons why I asked you. And recently, the way I've been trying to think about it is with two different kind of mental models. And one of them is like, what would the 80-year-old, 90-year-old version of me say success is? So it's like, okay, all the glitz and glamour is gone. 90 years old, back probably hurts. How does 90-year-old version of me still find success?
still snowboarding for sure.
Still shredding. I think it's about, like you were saying, kind of setting these goals. As long as you're setting attainable goals and making progress towards attaining those goals, then you are successful. And that working definition really helps me because it's just about progress. It's about the pursuit. As long as you're moving in a certain direction, it's like you're successful. So it's like both of us are already successful. And we can kind of talk about I'm sure you've heard about the observable and unobservable metrics from Chris Williamson. And I think it's easier to have a subjective answer when the metrics are observable, but what are those unobservable metrics?
How do you know you're succeeding?
And for me to put it in the simplest terms is like you were saying, continuing to move the goalpost, continuing to make progress towards that goal. So the growth never stops. And I think that's what a growth mindset is all about, was like once you have this mindset of, okay, I'm going to continue to level up, I'm going to continue to keep learning, I'm going to continue to keep going to the gym. You win simply by not quitting. And that's what it
Absolutely.
is.
That's honestly been one of the biggest pieces I've ever learned and one of the biggest frames that I've ever kind of implemented into my life. And I got that from you was you win simply by not quitting. Uh, Everybody's seen Rocky, so I'm just gonna throw that reference out there. 14th round, you know, gets knocked down. I think is it Apollo Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah, Apollo Creed. Turns around, puts his hands up, he's celebrating and whatnot. Turns and looks at Rocky, and everybody's like, "Rocky, stay down." Does he stay down? Nah, absolutely not. You know what happens. He gets back up. He's, wobbled, probably a little concussed. But see the look on Apollo Creed's face. He's like, God damn, this guy just does not give up. Um, Now that's super duper cliche and corny and cheesy, but I think it's equally true. You win simply by not quitting.
I think it's cliche for a reason because there's truth to it. Like I don't know. I
Absolutely.
don't think I think cliche sort of has a negative connotation. I just think that's the truth. Like I don't like using that word cliche when talking about that kind of thing because it's just what the truth is.
It is.
The other framework I've been using to help me reframe success as something a bit more obtainable is thinking of what my perfect day would look like and how I could string as many perfect days in a row. I understand to a level there's got to be lows for there to be highs, but it's like if I could design the perfect day, what would that look like? And then working towards those perfect days. It's like, okay, I want to do some work. Like I wouldn't want to live without work. So it's like, okay,
Got to
wake,
do something, get it done.
work a little bit, go for a walk, eat breakfast, go to the gym, do some more work, go outside, something like that, and then eat dinner. And it's like it's a pretty simple life, you know. For me personally, for it to be the successful perfect day, I'd be able to want to work from wherever and be able to be like, okay, 3 hours in, I put a shift in. It's not like I'm clocking in at 9 and then I'm not doing anything until 5. That's not what the perfect day looks like for me. But
Nope.
I still want to work. Like I have that desire to work and put something in because that's how I better myself. Not even because it's the paycheck, but if there's a way to work to improve myself, that's going to be a part of my perfect day.
I also think to an extent we're programmed to want to work. Like, I don't know about you, but this this happened to me earlier this weekend. Uh, I had a really, really busy day, and I think it was like Thursday. I had a really busy Thursday. Left the house at like probably 7, didn't get home till like 8 p.m. And sorry, left the house at 7 a.m., didn't get home till 8 p.m. And I was working the entire day, whether it was school, getting homework done, going to the gym, working out. Like I was busy and it was great. And then I got home and I finally had a chance to just sit down and kind of catch myself and breathe and read a book. And I was like, man, that was a really nice day. Like I really enjoyed that. And then the next day, I really didn't do much. I just woke up, read a little bit, had homework to do. We're all human. Dang it. I procrastinated all that homework. Was gonna go to the gym, didn't go to the gym. Uh, and honestly, like as busy as the day before was, it was just more satisfying to me. The day that Friday when I didn't really do much and I was kind of lazy and I kind of lacked and I didn't do much, like it felt like there was something in the back of my head telling me I was doing something wrong the entire day. And that's not a feeling that I enjoy very much. And I'm sure you could relate to that. It's like a framework, another framework because we love these. Um, I actually posted about this today on my account was what does the you of tomorrow want the you of today to do?
I mean, there's other quotes too, like you're casting votes to become the future version of yourself with every action you take.
Yep.
So personally, I'm sure there's many other people out there that struggle with the same thing. It's like you already know what to do, but you
Yep.
have some sort of like inner voice that you're toiling with, like, wow, the bed should
Bargaining with
be more like it's so comfortable in here. Like you could just sleep in a little bit longer and nobody's
just
gonna
press
know.
snooze. Yeah, no one's gonna know.
it happens to the best of us, but I think there is a version of yourself that does get out right away, and it comes back to understanding your own reason why.
Definitely.
So it's like if your reason why is large enough, and it takes some self-reflection to even find out what that reason why is, then you can have that motivation. And then once the motivation is gone, you've already built the habit, and now you're disciplined to take that action anyway. I really
Hmm.
think it comes down to your reason why. Like
Definitely.
what is the fire underneath your ass?
And I want to I want to build on this. So you and I we're both ski bums. I mean, I'm a ski bum. He's a snowboarder. We can't be friends yet. We still are somehow. Think about it like this, because I think about this a lot. I roll out of bed 6 a.m. to go to work, and I'm dragging my feet. I'm taking my time getting ready. I just don't want to be there, and I'm dragging my feet.
4:30 a.m. on a snow day though.
Yeah, 4:30 a.m. on a power day. I am
Um,
out of bed like I just drank two Red Bulls. Like I basically jump out of bed and I'm already in my bib. Like I jump out of bed, it's 4:30. I get all my stuff ready. I get my teeth brushed, I get breakfast down. I look at my watch, it's like 4:31. And
I
I think
feel
it just boils down to your reason why. And those days when you're up and you're at 'em and you're energized, it's like it's just because your reason why to get up that day is because you just regardless of the activity you're doing. Like if it's something you genuinely care about or something you genuinely enjoy, be it work or activity or just any circumstance you enjoy, it's just so much easier and so much like just more enjoyable to get up and to get at it right away.
and I think that has to do with designing the perfect day and the perfect life because you can kind of mix work with play. And I also feel like the best type of work is when you're being playful and there's room for like creative space. And that's difficult to just say, you like me don't have the perfect dream job right now.
If rolling burritos is a dream job, then man, I need to wake up.
No, I feel you, bro. I feel you there.
It's all right, but it's just a season right now.
Doing laundry in the gym. Like it's not the thing that lights a fire under my ass. But what does is I get excited to make that post during the day. It's like first thing I do when I wake up, it's like, oh, I gotta post my Instagram.
Time to
Like
get going. Yeah.
I just took the solid video right here. Like I gotta put it out there.
He's in the kitchen, he's cooking. It's time to
So
get it out there.
like that gets me excited, but I want to do even more of that because then you post a video and you're like, okay, well that took 5 minutes.
Dang, what else am I supposed to what am I supposed to do the rest of my day?
So I've been making
Fold
more
laundry and roll
recently,
burritos. That's a good answer.
right? No, I've been making more content recently. That's how you get better at this skill, is you do more. I made my first like unscripted YouTube video today, and that felt
Bro, how is that?
it felt weird. It felt weird. Like
Talking
it,
to the camera, bro.
it was better than a scripted one, I think, because it was less pressure to like say my words right. But then
Yeah.
I was like, what am I gonna say? Lesson learned, I think,
Oh,
is at least have like talking points, like bullet points that you want to talk
yeah.
and to organize your
A
thoughts.
little bit of structure goes a long way.
Yeah. Or just like one very specific point you want to make and then just ramble, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna try it again.
It was okay. Big point right here that I want to make. This is something you taught me when I first started the account. Just by starting, you are ahead of 90% of the competition. That first video today, I'm sure was weird, uncomfortable, strange, felt off, but that's just your first one ever. When I first uploaded to Motivated Mentality, good Lord, it was awful. And
Yep.
I did not want to post that night. It was 12 o'clock at night and we just got off FaceTime and I was like, man, am I really about to do this? Am I really about to post right now? I want to go to bed. I got work in the morning. But I got a text right as I was about to put my phone down for the night. It was like, hey, you better post tonight. Starting gets you ahead of 90% of the competition. I was like, damn it, he's right.
Look at you now.
And
It's only been 3 months.
yeah, and 3 months in, like we're not even Like
Great,
we're a quarter of the year in right now.
crazy.
Sorry, two quarters. I can't count math. I skipped that
Yeah,
day.
you're
But
stuck.
like you get the point. Like it's not even been half a year yet, and this is where we're at. And compound growth on compound growth. Who knows what it's going to be
Yeah,
like in 6 months?
keep going.
At the end of this 100 days.
At the end of this 100 days, we're gonna reassess all this progress, take some lessons we like learned. I like to think about these 100 days as like a sprint. It's like, okay,
Definitely.
time to buckle in. Here are the goals. This is what we're doing. 100-day sprint because it dissects the year into less than a third. So it's like, okay, I can hustle for these 100 days. And then you celebrate at the end. It's like, yes, this is what I did. You reflect on the whole process. And it's a way of just like having more wins. It's like you took progress pictures today. You noted where you're at with your social media stuff. 100 days from now, you'll do the same thing. And you're like, wow, look at all that growth.
Yeah.
And it helps you build that habit, helps you flex that muscle of staying motivated and disciplined with two very important habits. And I've done it 4 times already. And I felt like my mental health was in the greatest stage when I was at like day 43.
In the
And
middle of it.
I've got something to look forward to. It's like I can't wait to
Yeah.
see what it's like at the end of these 100 days. My next question for you.
Hmm.
What is a piece of advice you would give to the 18-year-old version of yourself?
Great question. Wow. I would say stop caring what other people think about you because you yourself are thinking that other people are thinking about you when in reality they're not. They're thinking about themselves. And I think as humans, we're all encoded with thinking about how others perceive us. And I think it's just like anything, a skill you have to get better at to not care so much or not really care at all what other people think about you, especially because everybody's their own individual person. What's right for them is probably not going to be what's right for you. And vice versa. What's right for me might not be right for somebody else. And so you're the only person that wakes up with you. You're the only person that looks you in the mirror every single day. You're the only person that reasons with you every single day. So take what other people say with a grain of salt, but don't care so much about what they think because they're not you. They're not on your path. And so, yeah, that's what I would say.
So you said you think that is a skill to be developed. What is an action step someone could take to stop caring so much about what people think?
I think it's a matter of deliberate practice and thinking about one, I think it's understanding why we're about to get really meta here. I think you have to understand why you're thinking about what other people are thinking about you. And for me, it was just because I was insecure. And so I think you have to understand your trigger for that. I'm also an overthinker, so there's that as well. So I think it's just a matter of understanding why your inclinations are the way they are to think this way. And then once you recognize behaviors and you recognize patterns and triggers, then you can start to understand, like, this causes me to feel this way. And then once you really start to learn and grow, I think it also just comes with age. Like 18-year-old me versus 22-year-old me right now is leaps and bounds ahead right now because I've adopted a growth mindset. And and also like I listen to a lot of podcasts, I get a lot of wisdom, I read a lot of books, I try to work really hard, and I think just as a byproduct of doing the right things and gaining wisdom as you get older, you realize once you get to a certain point that not a lot of people, not everybody, but not a lot of people put in the mental horsepower and the cerebral effort that you do yourself. So why would you really care what they think anyways if they haven't put in the time?
So would you say the first step was kind of like building this awareness by taking the leap and starting to learn some of these self-improvement things? Like how
Oh,
you're
definitely.
it's kind of pulling back the layers of like, okay, why do I want to fit in with the cool kids in high school. And it's like,
Definitely. Yeah.
well, I really just want a feeling of like comfortability and a friend group. So I don't want to act out.
I want camaraderie.
But the only way to kind of build that awareness was by taking that first step and starting to educate yourself on some of these self-awareness things. And maybe that's just as simple as tuning into a podcast, especially like Modern Wisdom. He talks about a lot of these things.
It's my favorite podcast, man. Chris Williamson kills it.
I know you really like that one. So that's the reason why I mentioned it. But I really think it just comes down to making the decision to improve yourself, and then it's something you stumble across.
Yes, it's like you're you improving yourself is like stumbling around your room looking for the light switch, and then figuring out certain things about you that you can work on is like finding the light switch.
Yeah,
That might not be a great analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I understand. It's like you don't know you need to work on your fitness until maybe you encounter a circumstance where you're like winded going up a flight of stairs and you're like, okay, maybe that's maybe that's something I can do better for.
Uh,
I think it's the same thing.
that totally has never happened to either of us in the past couple weeks while bulking. Totally not.
No, no, you got the wrong guy. I don't know what you're talking.
You got the wrong guys.
So
Uh,
basically, though, I have some more questions for you. And I don't know if you can see the timer on our Zoom call.
yeah, we're winding down. This has been too fun though.
Do you want to, should I start another Zoom call and we can finish? It shouldn't take too much longer.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Okay. Well then,
See
um,
ya at the next call, brother.
okay, we're back. We just talked about a piece of advice you give to the 18-year-old version of yourself. My next question for you relates to that 18-year-old version of yourself. And how do you currently overcome comparing yourself to others?
Like, how do I keep myself from comparing myself to others? Or
How do you overcome it?
how do I overcome it? Okay, sorry. Took me a second. I would say
Or do you even
some,
feel the need to overcome it?
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think comparing yourself to others can be a potent driver and give you some fuel to move forward, but I also think comparison is the thief of joy. If you're always preoccupied and focused on what other people have, what other people are doing, et cetera, then you're going to be taking for granted all of the things you have going for yourself and all the things you're working on. And I think it's important to know that there is some utility in thinking like, like this person has all these things. Like I'm gonna take these away from myself because I don't have them. I don't think that's healthy, nor is it right. But I also think if you have someone you look up to and you compare yourself to them and you find things that you have in common, common threads that you might share, and they're someone you look up to because they're successful, I think then that could also be a very potent fuel to drive you to the next echelon or to the top of the next mountain for success. Um,
I agree.
I think it's just understanding the duality of the two and applying which one when it needs to be applied, if that makes sense. I can tell you from personal experience, more often than not, comparing myself to somebody else robs me of my joy and of my joy and the things I'm doing because, again, kind of sounds cliche, but it's like the only person you should ever be comparing yourself to is who you were yesterday, who you were last week, a month, 2 months, 3 months ago, your 18-year-old self.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I think you hit it right on the dot. And to get that fuel you get by comparing yourself to others, you have to sacrifice some of your own joy. And maybe that's what it takes to start, or maybe that's what it takes to get over that action threshold where you start taking action.
Hmm.
But I think as I've continued on my own fitness journey, especially over the last 4 years, it's not really about comparing myself to others anymore. Like it's just something I enjoy doing and I like seeing the progress along the way.
Oh,
It's okay, at least like it's something's happening. It's not like, but then
something is indeed happening.
I will see, other people online and it's like, okay, well, who knows how long they've been training? Who knows this? And for me, it's like, it doesn't even matter anymore. I have a harder time when it comes to the social media stuff. And I think it's because it's a bit newer for me.
It's also more nuanced too. Like sometimes you'll just hit the algorithm with a post at the right time and it'll blow you up. Like there's this one dude that's kind of in the same space that I am. His name is Ulrich C underscore seven, I think. And within like 3 or 4 posts, he was already pushing like 30K views per post. And I was like, wow, like he's definitely got good content. I'm not trying to take anything away from him because, that's the whole premise of this is comparing yourself to others. But looking at that, I was like, wow, why am I still stuck at like, 300 views? Like it it took me a second to get moving, but I just realized like if I compare what I'm doing to him, he might be on his second account. Like he might be on his third. He might have done this before. Like he probably has a better idea of what he's doing. And also, like you say, he's he might be have been in the game for longer than I am and has more knowledge and more wisdom and knows how to play the game. This is my first time ever. Why would I compare myself to him?
I think it's very beneficial to be aware that it can be a fuel, a driving factor, but even better for your own mental health to be aware that the sacrifice you are making by using that as your main driving factor is your own joy. And it goes back again to what your reason why is. And if your reason why is, I want to give to the world, I want to improve the life of someone else because I like to be of service, that's going to be a longer term, cleaner fuel than, oh, I want to be better than this guy. So I think you hit it right on the head that there is like a duality to it, and there's benefits and there's cons. So it's interesting, and I think you're right on the dollar about understanding the duality of it. And it's not necessarily something to overcome, but to become aware of. My last question for you today is what
All
would
right.
you say to someone just starting their personal growth journey?
I think the first thing I would say, there are definitely a couple things I would say, but the first thing I would say is starting is the hardest part. That's the first thing. Starting is the absolute hardest part of doing anything, just like we were talking about earlier. Your first post is going to be hard. Your first push up is going to be hard. Your first workout's going to suck. Your first time going skiing is probably going to be hard. Like the first step is always the hardest step to take. But if you can just make it through that initial phase of learning, I mean, it's like this is what Hormozy says. Like, if you just make it through this, everything else is downhill from here. It's not like the dragons you're going to fight aren't going to get bigger. They are, but like you're going to be so much more equipped and so much more skilled to deal with them and to slay them back. And so just starting is the hardest part. And then another thing is slow progress is way better than no progress. Fast success builds ego, slow success builds character. I would argue that if either of our social medias blew up immediately after zero trial and error, we wouldn't be in this position we are right now, or we would be none the better for it. You know, we wouldn't have those experiences teaching us what things worked well and what things did not work well, and kind of knowing which direction to step in and what direction not to step in. So that would be my second thing. And number three is, and this is a big thing I'm working on. I'm sure you can relate to this, but I'm a very competitive individual and I'm a very highly driven individual, as I know you are. And I'm learning to treat myself with more kindness and more compassion. If I make mistakes and if I mess up, that's fine. You're a young man. You're learning. You're 22 years old, God damn it. Like, don't expect to have it all figured out. And no matter where anybody is on their growth journey, you're just starting. Like, you're going to mess up. You're gonna make mistakes. You have to hit X amount of fails before you ever get your first success. Like it's like the I couldn't explain it as well as you could, but paying or the down payment on your ignorance debt. Like you just have to. There's a certain number of fills you're gonna hit before you get one success, and it's just knowing that again, you're learning. It's okay.
And I like that. I think for me, what it sounds like you're saying is overcoming the fear of failure.
Definitely.
And if I could tell myself when I first started, at least, that it's okay to fail, like that's a part of the progress, I think I would have failed sooner. And that means I would have learned sooner. And that means I would have done better sooner. So I think if I
You
could
wouldn't have
tell,
delayed it.
yeah, I think if I could go back in time and speak into myself and just be like, it's okay to look stupid. Like, it's fine.
It is
Like,
very okay to look stupid.
you're gonna die and no one's gonna remember the time you freaking couldn't do a push-up. Like no one's you remember that time you forgot how to do a push-up? Like no,
And
that
also to bring this full circle, uh, what you said earlier about how have I kind of overcome what people think about me? Most people aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. So yeah, you might mess up in front of people, but they're not going to be sitting up in their bed at night wondering, like thinking to themselves, wow, that dude really failed today.
yeah.
Ha ha ha. Everybody's so self-conscious. They're thinking about themselves. They're like, oh man, I messed up here when I was doing that today. Like, excuse my French. No one really gives a shit.
Sorry for cussing.
Sorry, I know. I'm sorry. Oh God, my virgin ears.
All right. So today's day one. We're getting locked in.
Absolutely.
We are going to be back in 100 days. Let's find out when 100 days is. 100 days.
Bro, that's a lot of math.
Um, bro, I'm looking it up. I'm not doing any math.
Okay, good.
July 10th. It is
July
April
10th.
1st. July 10th. June,
Right.
July. Okay. So like no, I'm playing. Um,
Oh man.
we will be back in 100 days. I think this is going to be a really cool documentation process to see not only how our social medias have grown, because that is the skill we have decided to spend 100 days, 30 minutes a day learning about consistently. How our physiques have grown. Maybe we put that in the next call, something like that. We'll see what happens. I can edit it in there. And our mindsets. So this has been great. I think it's gonna be a really cool, like before and after call 100 days from now. I'm just stoked. I think this is gonna be sweet. I think it's gonna
I'm
be a good time.
I'm honestly I've never really done a challenge like this before, so I'm honestly really excited. Yeah, I'm kind of giddy right now. I'm not gonna lie. This is yeah, this is exciting. I'm
The
glad that I'm a part of this.
happiness of pursuit. So now we got something to chase after. We got basically 99 days because it's pretty late today. So
Bro,
I'm going.
I am going to bed after this.
I'm going. Well, thank you so much for your time, Matt. We're gonna wrap it up right there.
Sweet.